Speak to Salman Butt, the chief editor of the non-profit Islam 21C. Salman, welcome to the programme. What do you make of the decision by the Swedish court?
I think it's disappointing, obviously. Sweden needs to come to terms with the fact that it has a sizable Muslim minority now and that they're here to stay and they shouldn't be treated like second class citizens. It's about giving them that human status. I think many people have reported just a few months ago, they banned a similar protest outside the Israeli embassy. Not to say that we condone burning scripture or anything like that, but just to show the double standards and hypocrisy. And it's about time that Sweden comes to terms with the fact that Muslims are there to stay and they should be given equal human status.
It was really interesting. You're talking to us from London, and this is a little bit of a side issue, but the English Premier League, the most popular football league in the world, is now pausing during Ramadan to allow Muslim players to have something to eat or to drink on the sidelines. So it shows how progressive Western societies can be in accommodating minorities. But in terms of that decision by the Swedish... Go on, Salman, go on.
So it's just basic tolerance. That if you treat someone like a human being, those are the provisions they're going to make. And it's worth noting that the French Football Association, has denied that request from Muslims that are fasting and putting them in a very difficult position. We all know the position of French so-called secularism on this.
Sure, yeah, that's a very interesting point, actually. So clearly the Swedish court has made the decision on a legal basis. But how much of a moral issue should Islamophobia be? Because surely Islamophobia is an issue that affects the cohesion of society and just being able to live side by side.
Absolutely. And if anyone's calling for tolerance and actual genuine, the spirit of the philosophy of freedom of expression, it's the Muslim community. We're not saying that you're not allowed to, express your opinion. We're saying don't just go around one-ton insulting people, and this is not how you build a cohesive society. So the irony of all this is, people who claim freedom of expression, freedom of speech. The philosophy that was built under was for knowledge to spread, for people in power to be held to account. It's being used in the opposite direction to spread misinformation, to stoke up tensions, and to punch down, so to speak, on an already beleaguered minority.
Why do you think that's happening? Why is Islamophobia on the increase? And if you do any research, it all shows that over the past few years across Europe, Islamophobia is rising at an extremely disturbing rate. Is it because governments and politicians are trying to cover up for shortcomings in their own societies? What's happening? Is it looking for a scapegoat?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, you see the Great Depression in the 1920s was followed 10, 15 years later by a rise in fascism and obviously Adolf Hitler coming to power in Germany, for example. So we're seeing, unfortunately, a similar trend towards fascism, towards authoritarianism, towards populism, and using minorities as scapegoats from the 2008 global financial crash. And God knows what else is going to come. But we all need to be wary of this. The propensity for societies to lurch towards this type of fascism and call it out before it becomes a bigger and bigger problem.
The British government a couple of weeks ago stopped that Danish-Swedish dual national Rasmus Paludan from entering the country because he said he was going to burn a Quran. The British government says we're not letting him in because of the security risk. Completely the opposite to the Swedish decision. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a big fan of the British government because it has a long list of people that it's Muslims that is banned for very minor little disagreements that they have with criticizing some aspect of British policies or so forth. So it really does show that such a high bar is required to ban an open Islamophobe from coming in, and we welcome that.
Salman, thank you as always. Really appreciate it. Salman Butt in London.